Okay, let me just. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining here. Okay, so as you might be aware that today we are going to have a discussion. So yes, we will hold on for the discussion on the later period. But yes, right now we can invite our panelists. Can we have the president from NAB? I guess we will be waiting for him. If you are here, could you please raise your hand? No, I'm just asking to Narayan sir. All right, I found you. Hello. I was just searching for you that wherever you are. Okay. So, can you please brief us like about the census for whom we are here together? So, everyone who are here for the meeting, I'm really grateful. But could you please introduce yourself? So, yes, I'm A.S. Narayan, and I'm the president of National Association of Deaf. And it's been 17 years working, and we work for the education, for the accessibility, for proper communication, and various advocacy programs. All over India, we work for it. All right, great to know that. So, can I put up the questions for you? Yes, I'm all set. Okay, so for the census, I have a question that how did you just started about this? Did you came a thought about starting something related to census and sharing the data to the government, or did you had any word with the government? Okay, thank you for the question. Actually, in 1997 when we got the independence, sorry, the 47. So, in the United Kingdom, there were some like when they were independent or something, like 1951, it was the first time, like from that much long period. It's been 70 years now, but the disability is not mentioned. So the human right which we have no regarding the persons. For example, if we have census for various things like animal husbandry or like for the gender, for the population, we can say. But what about the disabled persons? We don't have any category just to mention our rights. And Javed, whose sign name is this, he is been into it like he has been advocating since a long time, since 2001. And it was something like when he put up the question for when he advocated for it, disability was mentioned for it. But just a minute. Could you please hold on for a minute? I guess there is some PPT presentation. So just a minute, we have to wait. Hey, could you please see me? So do you need voice interpreting right now, or that is not? If we could repeat, so where I was, I forgot. Yeah, I guess about Javed, he took an initiative. You were saying about it? Yeah, so I was saying about Javed, who just made an emphasis for the Disability Act. Like there must be a mention in the census regarding the disabled persons. So for the disabled persons, there is a act which was amended in 1995. So it was really, I was not at all aware that time, maybe around 2001. With the meantime, um, in the 2011 or prior to that, we had a meeting. We discussed with everyone, and then I came to know. I raised I raised a voice. Like we must be there, like so that we can say that who all people are there who are using sign language. But in 1995, the PWD Act was saying that this is not at all possible with it. So, with the coming time in 2016, when we had the amendment in the RPWD Act, so that was a time when we can have some changes in the communication. There was some accessibility guidelines, mentioned in the act. So we were planning in that time, and then we just had this COVID scenario, So when we were planning to go to run something like this, so in 2020 we were approaching the government and for the census and everything, but it got delayed somehow. So in the newspaper, we also came to know that soon we are going to have our census in this year or something. So I just thought that we must mention about Indian Sign Language into the census. So this is how I raised a complaint in the government officer that we must do like this. And I just explained them about everything that what we can do, like how we can approach and gather data about the persons who are using ourselves. So government was just saying that how we can hear, like there are might be 100 or 200 people who are using sign language, but I assure them that no, there are many people. So I just thought that how did you came to know that there are only 100 or 200 people? So they said that we had a report. So I asked them, okay, can you please show them? So they are one of their staff member that we had census in 2011 around. So could you please say check that what is the actual data about the deaf person? So they said, okay, we will be checking about it and we can answer you later. So it was like 1 week passed away, but we still didn't get the information. So I again requested them. So I just told them that what we can do further. So government officials were saying if we had 10,000 above people over here, then yes, we can just go ahead with this information. So I was like that NGO can take this a step, but they told that no, government will take the lead for this. So the department for the PWD, I approached them. So they said that in the countrywide, we have ISL for the census, but why we don't have here? Like in Australia, we have in many other places. So where are the proofs? So they asked me, and I just shared that. See, these are the details we have, like ISL, sorry, the sign language accessibility and the proper data in other countries. So this is how I approached and just shared all the documents with the government official, and then we had a Zoom meeting with them, and we questioned that, and they questioned us that what is why it is required, why do you need ISL, like there are many other languages and we are fully functional with it. So we just briefed them about it, and then they just said that okay, we can hopefully mention this. So I was quite happy with this, and then later in 2022 I just thought why it is getting so delayed. In 2022 last, when the government declared that we are going to try that in 2023 it will be like we will be holding a census. So I thought that this is the correct moment when we can just take a step. Like there are many people who are deaf and they are quite doubtful that how they can say something, like there is AIFD and many other associations working, and we four associations, we just had a meeting and they said yes, we will be supporting you in this step. So this is how we just shared this information with everyone, and this is how it took. Okay, so I would like to question you something else, that when you just had the letter with the government officials, so this process was time taking or it was in a much smoother way? So when we share the data, when we make the report, we just had the documents, and then to the senior official, we just said that you can have a look on these reports, and please don't think that we are deaf and you will just handle it and you can just ignore it later on. So they were just making excuses, how the government officials make. So we just told them that please don't fool us with this and don't ignore our words. If you will ignore, we can raise our complaint to other authorities as well. So this is what our RPWD Act 2016 says, that no one can just deny us, that no one can just oppress us. So this is how they said that yes, we will be looking positively towards this. Okay, so this is really a nice step, and so efforts you have put it into this. So to all the people, like we have 18 million deaf population over here in India, but right now when we share the Google Form, persons, like the data which we have, we can see many less people. Like we just had the information that there are 18 million people, and now we can see less data over here. Why it is so? So see, I will not just say that 18 million is just a rough figure. We just had this by our mind. We just created it by our mind. It is just that the government is like, this is that 15% approx population is always deaf. So this is how the poll, the government poll says that 140 crore population is there. So when the government says that 15% is there, so we can just approximately say that yes, we can just have this much rough figure for the deaf. But there are many less amount of people who are just ensuring that they are submitting the Google form, because in the earlier times people were not much aware of the technology. The youngsters who are using the technology, they are keen to know about something digitally, so they are filling up the form. But the people who are illiterate or something, so this is what the reason may be. So we all people who are might skillful, who are experienced, we can share this data with everyone. Okay. Yes, I can totally understand that we people who are having a good knowledge of technology and we know how to do it. So we can just support each and everyone. So what do you think, like if we have a less amount of data? See, the deaf education, when we talk about it, the proper education in India, we have just 5% of good education. For the 95% of people, we can say they are illiterate or not that much educated. Okay, so this is the reason education is like so poor here. So just for example, as if AIFD is working, 4 to 5 persons are there in the team, and then the experts who are there, for example, in the AIFD, Sunil Sahaswati, or we can count many people, right? We can just finger count them. We don't have much more experts within us, so that's fine. We can just put more emphasis on this, and we can just spread this information ahead, and yes, we can have later on much more experts within us. And like technology, the people who are from rural areas, they are not that much good with the technology, so this might be the reason. All right, thank you so much, Narayan sir, for the answers. So I would request the other person. So could you please join the sign name? All right. Hello, nice to meet you. So could you please introduce yourself? All right. So my name is Somesh Sharma, and I'm from Delhi, and this is my sign name. Thank you. Okay, great. So I would like to question you. All right, I will just share some more information that I'm working in the sports association of deaf. So this is how it's been 10 years working in this association. All right, thank you. I will be putting up some questions for you. Um, like you are being into sports, so how this is interrelated with the census? Could you please brief us? Because the sports and some census related information is quite different, like the NAD, how it works for the education or something, we can correlate with them. But how with the sports? So see, ISL is somehow related with the sports, because these the sporties which we have, no, the players, they all are communicating in sign language. So this is how it is interrelated, So we must be engaged into this superb step. Okay, so they use signs, so we can just put the informations into the Google form. Yes, absolutely right, because they are native signers, and with the maybe it can be different sports like volleyball or something else, but they communicate in sign language. So ISL information must be filled up into the census form, right? So this is how we just laid the process. Okay, so like interpreters were not engaged in the government meetings and everything. So do you think that after the census data, government can get engaged and can get fully aware about the interpreters and can engage them as well? So yes, see, interpreters are also doing sign language, right? So this is how they can fill up the form, Google form, because the persons who are using sign language, it is for all the persons. As like the deaf person is using a sign language, interpreters do also use. Okay, so coming to the next question. Earlier, like some persons told me that the letter, for these sports or anything where we mention some information, so what is your mother language, Hindi or English? Or do you use sign language into it in the letters? How do you mention it? See, for the communication, we use sign language. Okay, we also mention in the letters as well for the sign language. Because how do we communicate? We communicate through ISL, no? So there must be like we must share this in the letters as well when we just make sure that we are raising complaint or everything. So do you think could I repeat my question? Okay. So see, in the forms, when we have the Google form, we mentioned ISL, like All India Federation of Deaf, there is a word where deaf word is mentioned. So how more we can add the ISL? So this is how Sports Association of Deaf is interrelated. See, we have Malayalam, Hindi language options with us. So, but we don't have sign language option with us, right? Yes, we don't have, because in the sports, whether it is like for different sports, but we don't have option of sign language into this. All right. Thank you so much, sir. So now I would request Deepak if you can join. Okay, so Deepak. All right. Hello. Hello. Yeah. So thank you for joining us and accepting our request to be here. So could you please introduce yourself? Okay. So my name is Mary Louise, and I'm from All India Federation of Deaf, and I'm General Secretary as well, with working with Narayan sir. Okay. So could you please share your sign name properly? See, earlier my sign name was this. When I was in the other organization, in the NAD, when I saw that the Narayan sir also have the same sign name, so I just thought that I should change my sign name. So this is how I changed my sign name. Okay, thank you. Thank you for being here. So regarding the census, I'm going to put up some questions for you. So for the census, when we spread the information all over the nation, there are many people who are just putting up the forms, filling up the forms. But there are many students who don't have phone, and they are like, there are also people who are so senior citizens. There are people who have keypad phones, and these people are also using sign language. So is there any alternate option for them? Okay. So in India, we have deaf schools, right? We have many schools in India. So as like NAD is having a letter, request letter, and also other welcoming forms. So the association or the federation, the board members, they go to the deaf school, and they meet to the principals, the head authorities regarding the census form, and they share the request letter to them, and the principal just share this complete information and make everyone a student, like every student can sign this form, and they share this with us. So this is how NAD raised the awareness, and they also ask their parents in the parents teacher meeting to gather them, and then we explain them that how did they learn sign language. This is how, like, the native signing is from the children's, it is the natural signing skill which they acquire, the language, first language. So parents must sign this because their children's, like, they communicate with their children's with the sign language. So this is how we have many schools all over in India. So we can share this data, and this responsibility is handled by the NAD, sorry. Okay, that's really a great step. Okay, so we had the information about the students. What about the senior citizens? So see, there are many members of the associations. We have many people within our board members, and we just bring all the associations people together, and who were connected with us, and we made everyone to sign the documents. Okay, all right, that's really nice. So deaf schools or the sports gathering or the other competition is the same, like we wanted to support them, like in each and every meetings, we are supporting them. So this is how our future will be leading towards sign language. We wanted to make them proud as well to just take this initiative. Wow, that's really nice that being like you're collecting the data with such a good amount of alternative options. So I just want to make you like just go ahead with this complete process, or how you are doing this. So just go ahead with this. And we have ISL form which we shared with everyone. So deaf people who are like my brother who is hearing, who is good into sign language, or if I am a deaf person and I have a child who is like, we call them coda or soda. So do we need to remove hearing persons to fill up this form, or we can just ask them to just fill it? Yes, we can ask them, because coda or soda or anyone who knows sign language, they are like eventually they are getting this language knowledge from a deaf person, and they're communicating. So whether they are sodas, so how they came to know about the sign language? They knows na. So anyone who knows the sign language can fill up the form, or the friends or colleagues. So if they are signing, they can fill up the form. So we can ask anyone who is like who is knowing some sign language, they can just fill up the form, whether they are hearing, they are interpreters, and like as like interpreters, they are learning the sign language, because so eventually if they are learning, that means they know the sign language. So this is how everyone can fill the form, because they know sign language. Anyone who is having the proper knowledge of sign language, they can fill up the form. The hearing persons who are good into sign language, like whether they are senior citizens or they can't hear much if they are hard of hearing, but like the persons who are hard of hearing, they use sign language, so they even can fill up the form. So we just wanted everyone, we will request everyone to just fill up this form. Okay, so I will ask you something else, that the codas. So is this useful that we can put up that yes, we are coda or soda? Yes, I really want this because I want that this should be a proud, a proud moment for everyone. If this ISL language will be like across the nation and everyone will be knowing it. For example, the parents are there, the blind persons, they have braille, and for the deaf person, if we get Indian Sign Language, it will be like everyone will be respecting the language, It's like other language, they will be respecting Indian Sign Language as well, which is of deaf people. And when it is once declared that Indian Sign Language is there, so we can have some list of people, like the mother tongue. We can also request them that whose mother tongue is Indian Sign Language. So we can highlight this as well, because someone who is like using, for example, a child who first acquired the sign language, whose mother tongue is sign language, So this is absolutely right to gather this information. Okay, so we wanted everyone to just fill up this form, and so that we can share this information with the government officials, right? But what if we don't share this data, and or the people denies it, that we can't even share this information to the other persons, right? Yes. So because we wanted the Indian Sign Language to be recognized by everyone. We wanted the good motive, the good work to be ahead, and we just wish to just get this, to get achieving. Okay, so one more thing I got to know, you just priorly told to me that the senior citizens, they couldn't fill up the email IDs or something, they don't have. So who were the persons who were supporting them? Yeah, so in the earlier times, a few days back, there was some information like people were asking that how we can fill up the form and something. So, like they don't have the mail ID. That was the reason that people couldn't fill up the form. So we just explained them each and everything, and then they could fill up the form easily. So hearing persons can help them, and the other persons who are around, who are much literate or who can explain, they can just share it, or the mail ID of the hearing person or the mail ID of the other persons can be filled up in the form. Okay, so this is how we just wanted everyone to sign it. And we want everyone to come along. And in India, like we have many associations, foundations who are working in different sectors. And this is how we can collect the data, and we are really hopeful towards it. And we want that deaf schooling, and everyone should be coming along with this. And we just need that one request letter to just do it, and we can just ask for the approval, and we can go ahead with this. All right, thank you so much for clearing our many points. Let me clear that the first question was for the deaf schooling, that how we can gather the data. Then secondly, for the members, or the third one for the Coda, Soda, and the other persons. So we are really happy that you shared this information. Stay here in the meeting with us. We will be sharing some more information with the panelists, and later on we can put up the questions. So I wanted to welcome Sunil sir over here. Sunil sir. Could you please raise your hand? I'm up here, see. Hey, yeah, okay. So, yeah, thank you for being here. All right, yeah. So thank you for being here, Sunisa, and taking out some time to join us. And in the census, could you please brief us that, like, firstly, I wanted to know about you. Could you please introduce yourself? So yeah, this is my sign name, and I'm Sunil Sahasrabudhe, and I'm the president of All India Federation of Deaf. And I'm here right now in Mumbai, and thank you for joining me here in the session regarding the census, because census, like only the AIFD can work upon it. We wanted the complete community to get benefited with this census, so we are here. All right, so today, as you know, that it's 21st Feb, and it's mother tongue, or we can say that the first language day or the mother language day, right? So we all are catered here. So Sunil sir, what is your perspective? Like when we talk about the first language day and the sign language, so what is your opinion on this? See, firstly, I got to know about one thing. Just a minute. What is census? Can we clear it first? Census, okay, it is a very simple word for the population. That how many people we have in our family. Like maybe there is a family who have 5 members, 2 members, or something. So when we talk about the Google form, when we put up the questions, what is your mother tongue? We ask about it, right, to the persons. So this says that yes, the family, the persons, like what is their language, they say that. But we are not quite clear with this, because the language, it is very necessary that we deaf community, we deaf persons are using sign language. And then when they say that what is your mother tongue, so our family members used to say that Hindi, English, Marathi, and other languages. But we deaf person use sign language, and this is the time when we have to raise a word for our sign language into the census. And now when the it's the mother tongue day, we can say, or the first language day. So the language which we acquire, we just go ahead with that language in our lifetime, like the language which we use on daily basis. So that is the first language. But the deaf persons, like they are might not aware that what is the mother tongue, because for the deaf persons, on their perspective, their parents, what they say, for example, me Sunil, the parents, anyone who is coming over here at my home, we just share, we have the communication into the sign language. But in the families where the persons are mostly hearing, they are communicating through different spoken languages. So there is also a term primary, okay, which is also said as the first language or the primary language. It is the first one. For example, the primary, okay, what is the language we are habitual for the communication, okay. So this is the primary language. So deaf persons use sign language. This is the primary one, the first language. Like this is what the mother tongue is. Like mother tongue is the first language which a person speaks or says. So deaf persons have the similar mother tongue, which is the sign language. And it is really important that we can add this mother tongue, the language, sign language, into the census. So we all are here to raise our voice towards this initiative. All right, really nice to know that. So I have some more questions, like the sign language, which we say as mother tongue, So we deaf persons have mother tongue Indian sign language, right? See, there is also a debate upon it, like the parents, the family members, the parents of the deaf child or anyone. For example, the codas, or sorry, this is the sign name for the coda. Okay, so this is that yes, my mother tongue is sign language, but there is also a majority of people who says that hearing persons, in the deaf community, I use sign language. So parents are like, no, we don't communicate in sign language, or they don't say that mother tongue is sign language. So this is how there is a complex. So we must get awakened now, because when we just when we awake from a sleep, we communicate through sign. So this is the first language. The a person eventually speaks a language that is the first language, the primary language. And sign language is like we can just say that there is still a debate going on, because this concept, like the person's concept, are not at all that much clear because of the parenting. So there is still a complex debate upon it, and people are a bit confused regarding this. So, but we can say that mother tongue is like ISL, and any other language of mother tongue is quite equivalent. All right. So, um, just another question I skipped. Sorry. So in the earlier times, in India, I'm talking about the hearing persons. We had the good education for the engineering. We had the many ITians within us. So in India, as like us, uh, like the child who, like if we are Indian and we have a child, so he will be just having the same color as like the parents, right? So in the similar way, the parents use Marathi, so they will be just saying that yes, we will be using Marathi into it. But as they are in the foreign country, they won't use Marathi on the day-to-day purpose. So because we are just using English, because persons might be thinking that, oh, this person is using Marathi. But yes, in the schooling or something, what we get to learn is English language, but the mother tongue is different, which we speak into the family members or with the persons. So, like when we meet with the other Marathi persons, we are not that much but comfortable while communicating into the Marathi, because we are just with the education system, we change our language communication. Okay, so you shared your views upon the language. All right, so this is how I will say that in the census, I want that this is really a nice step to add the ISL into it. But as we celebrate any other festival, so we must encourage persons, everyone, as we must celebrate this day because it is our mother tongue, ISL must be celebrated. Yes, definitely, because we are someone who are the speakers of sign language, and we must carry on this, and we must celebrate it, and we must go ahead with the celebration once it is getting approved. All right. So when we talk about the sign language and international, like the parents, when they celebrate their languages, and in the similar way we can celebrate our Indian sign language day as well, right? We can be benefited into both. Yes, see, on the 23rd September, when we have other celebrations, kodas are like they say proudly that yes, I am proud of using sign language. So they kodas are also proudly saying, so this is how we also can say that we are proud of using our sign language. Okay, so just share one word, and this will be the last. See, for the census, I will say that this is how census is done to just cater the population, that there are how many people. Total population counting is known as the census. So the deaf person, we just don't know that what is the exact count of the deaf person, and how many deaf person uses sign language. So we must know that how many Indian sign languages, sorry, how many people use that. And when we talk about Indian sign language, government always says that we don't have accurate data, this, that, and they make much excuses. So we just want that this is how we can change this step. Like government can just accept this thing, and we can share the data, and everyone can get inspired with this information. All right. So I just want that on this International Mother Language Day, when you share the information, so thank you so much for that. And please be here in the meeting. We will be having some more discussion. All right. So can we interchange, please, with the Manju? Okay, so could you please give us your introduction, please? Okay, so hello, all the deaf persons, and thank you for inviting me to be the part of this meeting. And it's 21st Feb, and it's International Mother Language Day. So let me introduce. My name is Saju, and this is my sign name. And I am the secretary. Um, Sorry, I skipped. Could you please just make sure that there is some bright on near you? Like we can see you a bit blur. Is that okay for you? Could you please just clean your camera? No, I hope that it will not be possible because in my home there is bit, okay, see, Saju, there might be some persons who are not that much uh, I mean, they can't see you much clearly. Okay, so we will be trying that everyone can see you well. So, when we talk about DWT, HAM, ISH News, and everyone others, and everyone, sees. For example, we can just fill up the form one time, and we can't fill up the form many times. Sorry. So in the census, we see that in the MBM ISS news, there are many people who are viewing their content. But when we see about the data of the census, we can see many less amount of people. Why it is so? Oh, that's a good question. On the social media, we have shared much information, and that is not that much enough. So we must share the information everywhere. The person, for example, like hope you remember the sign language um on the 23rd when Ranbir, added some bit of sign language actions into it. So we shared our appreciation into it. So this is how, like, we wanted to know that. So we wanted everyone to see this, like whether they are in the sports meet or whether they are from the other places, But we just want that not only this, the other information which we shared on the social media or the political, the affairs and the meetings where every politician is going to support and everyone, and this is how they cater the support, right? So just a minute, Saju. Like MBM or ISH, and every other association, they share the information. People viewed many times these content. But when we fill up the Google form, there are many less people. Like there are around 20,000. So this was my question to you. So see, this is just one thing to just inform everyone. Like from the YouTube, it's quite easy that we can see it, we can just tap here and there. But for the senior citizens or the persons who don't have good command over technology or something, they just can't do it. Like we must add this, we can add this information and circulate this to other deaf persons. We can find many deaf persons who don't have mail IDs, when it will be quite difficult for them to understand about the Google form, that what should I put? Should I put about the deaf or should I put about the hearing or something? So they are getting puzzled with this Google form, So in the campaigning with the volunteers, we are trying to help people. Like as you have seen this, how Narayan sir and Mary, they said that how they are just spreading this information. And this is how everyone can take a stand and can share, whether it's a temple or anywhere, you can share this information and circulate everywhere around the people. Okay, so there are like quite challenges while filling up the form, right? This is what you were saying. Yes. See, so see, filling up the form is like a bit difficult because government, when we share the data with them, it's quite like we will be, sorry, I didn't get it. So you are saying that Google Form, we have some difficulties while filling it. Okay. So, for example, if a person like take a couple example of a couple, that husband is having the phone and he have just one email ID, and the female like he don't have mail ID, but he wanted to fill up the form. So how she can do it? See, like me, like if I talk about myself, my wife and me, we both have different, if we have Aadhaar card, so can we have two persons Aadhaar card into one? No. For the children, we have like, we can just check that for the children's, parents' name is also there with them, like in the bank account details or whether it's Aadhaar card, anything. So this is how like we can just take an initiative and we can make a mail ID, please. So government is also raising a word, for the awareness. Modi recently also shared that for the disabled persons, they will be paying 5,000 rupees. For what? If you couldn't, if you couldn't get access to fill up that, so we can give it. But what about ISL? Like we don't have mail ID or something. So this is how we can support everyone. So we have to just make our mindset quite enlarged so that government report will be quite that was quite bit small, but I wanted to add something that in our meeting in the Chennai, Mary, Narayan sir, everyone was there, and everyone liked it, the ISL. So I was a bit confused that whether I like ISL or ASL. Like my whole hearted wanted to just communicate into ISL. For example, we wanted to just say one thing, that everyone can support ISL, right? So there also like when we have some other perspective, like in the movies, um, you know, Pathan movie was there when the person was wholeheartedly falling for someone, or in the 1 week, like that movie was bit touching to everyone's heart. So this is how I want that ISL must be touching everyone's heart, and the volunteers and everyone, like we want everyone to just get connected with this. Okay, so we should encourage, everyone to fill up this form, right? This is what you were saying. Yes. Okay, so that's really important. For example, how we have Aadhaar card, we have husband and wife have different Aadhaar cards. So this is how we can just make our email ID as well separately. Yes, separation is a bit important over here. Okay, thank you, Saju. So Deepak, could you please interchange? Okay, lovely. So now, what do you think? To whom I should invite? That's it. We should end up the session, right? We don't have the panelists. Okay, but yes, I wanted to thank all the five panelists with us. Thank you so much for taking out the time, and I hope you have gathered some information from this session. So, like we just came to know about our first language. Sunil sir, we had a word with him. And today also on Instagram, Here a Million team will be sharing a video. So you all can have a look at it and you can share across. And we will be having on the social media as well as on YouTube as well. Okay. So now I don't wanted to invite anyone for the panelists, but yes, I wanted to just invite few people for some question answer round. So you can put up some questions over here. Is that okay? Anyone who wanted to put the questions, please raise your hands.
Yes, sir. నేను అదే అన్నా ఒకవేళ కనీసం రేపిస్తానన్నా ఇవాళ డేట్ పెట్టి తీసుకోవాలి అడుగు చేస్తే సరిపోయింది కొన్ని ఒకవేళ రేపు ఎంఎస్లో తెలిస్తే ఓటీపీ రాలేదో లేకపోతే లాస్ట్ వీక్ పేమెంట్ అడిగారు సార్ సార్ తెలిసిందా ఒక్కసారి సార్ నేను మన ఏజెంట్ కాల్ చేసి అడిగి మళ్ళీ చెప్తాను ఒక నిమిషం నాగో సార్ అది ఏమైనా మూవ్ అయ్యే ఛాన్సెస్ ఉన్నాయా కష్టమా కష్టమా ఎందుకంటే గ్లోబల్ కవరేజ్ కావాలి కదా మరి గ్లోబల్ కావాలి కాబట్టి ఇంకా వెళ్ళగలరా ఓకే
Voilà. Yeah. Pepe, iki, ha, pa, iki, pa, para,
మీటింగ్ ఏం చెప్తున్నారు అడుగుతాను. ఊరికే చూస్తున్నా. కొంత
अरे क्या कर सकते
माधुरी ये कैप्चर कैसे नहीं पाती सॉलिड वो की शक्ति जो तेरे पर रिकॉग्नाइज संभाल लेगा अब माधुरी से खुशी क्या लगा माधुरी को तो बर्तन नहीं आता देखो बर्तन क्या बचत कैसे होगी ओके बचत की यार अपने आप क्या करें उपयोगी की तरह बना दोगे तुम भी तो स्टार्ट सही बात not really up bettering restaurant that delicious no restaurant soup at home आजकल फैमिली का ख्याल रखना कितना जरूरी है और वो छोटी छोटी चीजों से फर्क होता है जैसे आयोडीन जो इम्यून सिस्टम को मेरा पापा सॉल्व कितने हेयर फॉल शैम्पू ट्राई किए कि हेयर फॉल कब होता है क्या है हेयर फॉल के खास आयुर्वेदिक उपाय शैम्पू बिना देना एनुलेखा आयुर्वेदिक शैम्पू में इन चारों के जो बाल बनाए हेयर फॉल कम करे चार वॉश चल आ रहा है वो लोग ब्लैक हेयर Use heavy hook for mantra. With this appointment, blankets are dedicated to errors of natural. Hard. Cholesterol. मोटापा व डायबिटीज के रोगियों को ऐसा उपयोग कर पतंजलि critically refined rice from oil व कच्चे घानी शुद्ध सत्व। ओए, बैठ के आ रही हो? नहीं, निखार बचा। देखिए कितना बचा। निखार तो गया। सब तो दूध का तांबा घटाना है, तुझे पता नहीं। यो लवी लगा। फिर लवी को ये
ये तो छह का पुत्रों के लिए बहुत ही छोटा से है। क्या हो गया यार? देखो ना बहुत छोटा है लेकिन यार छह का ऐसे कपड़े में नाखून होते हैं वो काटे जाते हैं उसका थोड़ा मुश्किल होता है करना सेटिंग बनाओ इसको करके अगर प्रॉब्लम है ना इसके अंदर खाने के लिए तुम लोग पकड़ते हो। मैं समझ रहा था कि पालने के लिए पकड़ रहे हो। पालते नहीं हो आप मछली। ये वाली जिंदा है। उधर से क्या बुला रहे मुझे कह रहे कि मछली आ गई खा लो। यार माशाल्लाह। हाँ इसको फाउंटेन में डालेंगे पानी है कोई बच्चे आपके पास पानी शॉपर कोई शॉपर नहीं फाउंटेन 4 घंटे का सफर करना है जो शॉपर में रहेगी ना मछली यार मरती नहीं अगर हम फाउंटेन में इसको छोड़े तो ये जिंदा रहेगी क्योंकि पानी नहीं उसके पास यार इसका कुछ करो इसने भी पकड़े, इससे तुम पकड़ो नीचे करके तुम्हारे हाथ ही लंबे आराम से पकड़ लो। देखो मछलियां एक तो वो देखिए वहां पे फंसी हुई मछली है उधरती है ऊपर नीचे हो रही है इससे पकड़ सकते हैं। मुझे बड़ा शौक है फिशिंग करने का। ये देखिए वो मछली उसने भी खाई वापस क्यों फेंकी है ज्यादा मछलियां हो गई है इसलिए। अपनी जान कल से निकल रही है तो क्या कर रहे हो यार पानी का
बिल्कुल ही होगी ये आता था ये
मैं थोड़ा सा अंदर जाता हूँ लेकिन इतनी मछलियां फिर नहीं है तो मैं आपको दिखाने की कोशिश करता हूँ। गिर ना जाओ यार मैं लेता हूँ कोई हमारे हाथ में नहीं आने वाली ऐसे जब तक पूरे हमारे पास हमारा प्रॉपर प्लान नहीं था यहाँ आने का ऐसे अचानक हमें नजर आया तो अपने कैसे देख सकते हैं जब हम अगले दफा आएंगे ना बच्चे वाले लेके आएंगे ताकि हम पकड़ सके मछलियाँ और जाते हम छोटे हैं में कोई ऐसी मछली पकड़ लेगा वो पानी डाल के ना मुल्तान लेकर जाए बहुत दूर भी है तो सोचते हैं हमारी इधर कोई दुकान भी नहीं आसपास तो हमें सोचा यार ऐसे लेना तो फजूल है फिर वो बेचारी मर जाएगी सही हम अभी जाते हैं चलो तो अभी तो वापस जा रहे हैं
बच्चा बच्चा अच्छा
के साथ ही आए थे तो कुछ मछली में आ रहे हैं जूते भी खराब करती है यार इसमें कब छोड़ेंगे जहाँ हमारी बाकी वाली बकरी है तो जल्दी से जाते हैं यार और इसको ऊपर छोड़ते हैं क्योंकि इसके पेट के अंदर बच्चे यार बेचारी डिस्टर्ब हो रही होगी बेचारे यार उसी ये जूते भी खराब करती है यार इसमें देखो देखो हमारी बकरी चलो तो भाई वो वक्त आ चुका है जिसका आप सबको और हमें बेसब्री से इंतजार था। हाँ चलो हमारी बकरी दोस्तों फाइनली बच्चे देने वाली है अब वो
I'm really sorry. There are people who wanted to share something important, but in person you can contact them, the panelists, or you can also connect them through other social media channels. So, any queries if you wanted to ask more, you can please ask them as well. The associations, or the associations near your areas, you can contact them as well, or the Here a Million team can also do help them. We couldn't extend more the session, so it will be the questions will be carry on for the whole night maybe. So that is the reason we have to just end up here. So thank you so much everyone for joining this session, for continuously watching the session over here, the 5 panelists we have. We had so much discussions with them. Thank you so much. And also the management team who is there at the background, thank you. The interpreter Deepak, and like me and the other persons, thank you so much for handling this. And please don't misunderstand the topics. Like the first thing, the form, like the Google form, the Indian Sign Language we have to fill up in. So that is for the government. We have the ISL form, and now we have shared the link in the chat box. So this link is not for the census. This is for the Zoom discussion we had today. So just wanted to know your feedback, what was your learning or some changes you wanted to make, so that we can take care in the other sessions for us. So this is for